So let's start. See, ethics. How many of you know the syllabus of ethics paper? How many of you know the syllabus of ethics paper? None of you know. None of you know, right? You do not know the syllabus of ethics paper. How many of you started your preparation maybe 3 months before? 3 months before. Any time before 3 months you started your preparation. Whether it is your own preparation, institutional preparation start होके 3 महीना हो गया है. Anybody? Obviously there are some, right? So why is it that you do not know the syllabus of ethics also? Why? ऐसा क्यों? It has been 3 months that you have started your preparation. You would have gone through polity, history, economy, geography, पॉलिटी लक्ष्मीकांत अभी तक 20 बार आगे से पीछे, पीछे से आगे, ऊपर से नीचे कर लिया हो, राइट? Why this step motherly treatment to ethics? Why is it so that this paper does not get the attention? Polity is not for 250 marks का paper. In the GS paper 2 polity is there. Polity के साथ IR है, IR के साथ social justice है और कुछ और chapters भी है, right? So at max polity questions 80, 90, if you are lucky 100 marks का paper in GS paper 2. But ethics itself alone is for 250 marks. So why is it that despite a subject having 250 marks, it is not getting the attention of the students? Why? क्यों? Confusion. It has a technical vocabulary to master. Okay. So when you say that it has a technical vocabulary to master, you will also agree with me to break one myth that if you prepare for GS, your ethics preparation is done. There is a big myth in the market कि अगर तुम GS की तैयारी करोगे, if you prepare for GS, your ethics and essay preparation is done. There is a myth in the market. But trust me, it is not so. Ethics एक ऐसा पेपर है, if you have a dream of getting into IAS, IPS or IFS, willingly or unwillingly, अगर ये आपका ड्रीम, you are yawning at the starting of the class. How old are you? You only. You are yawning at the starting of the class. How old are you? Don't look left and right. Ethics की ही क्लास है. हाँ. Yes. 23. 6. When you got up in the morning? What time you got up in the morning? What time you got up in the morning? 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. What time you slept in the night? 11 o'clock. Means you slept for 9 hours. Good, about 9 hours. Okay. You are 26 years old. At 5 in the PM, you are yawning at the starting of the class. Are you not understanding what I am saying? Are you not understanding what I am saying? నేను చెప్తుంది అర్థమవుతుందా లేదా? క్లాస్ స్టార్టింగ్లోనే ఆలోచిస్తున్నావు, దాని అర్థం ఏంటి? యూ డోంట్ అండర్స్టాండ్ ఇంగ్లీష్ ఎట్ ఆల్? అట్ ఆల్? యూ డోంట్ అండర్స్టాండ్ ఎట్ ఆల్? అస్సలు? ఓకే, మీట్ మీ ఆఫ్టర్ ది క్లాస్. I'll tell you some things. ठीक है? Okay. But don't yawn. Go wash your face and come if you are feeling sleepy. నా క్లాస్లో ఆవులింతలు తీస్తే నేను పేగులు లెక్కెట్టేస్తాను. చాయిస్ ఈజ్ యువర్స్. ఓకే? గుడ్. కమ్ బ్యాక్. ఐఎమ్ గోయింగ్ లైవ్. दैट्स द बेस्ट पार्ट, है ना? सी, अगर तुम लोग सीरियस नहीं होगे जनवरी में, जून में एग्जाम रख के, तो फिर कब सीरियस होगे लाइफ में? ये एथिक्स का साइड में रख के तुम लोगों को कुछ और डिसिप्लिन की क्लास लेनी पड़ेगी। बाबा दिस पेपर, ट्रस्ट मी, I can guaranteely say nobody will teach you the way it is supposed to be taught. Nobody will teach you the way it is supposed to be taught. जो ethics का syllabus है UPSC का, if you are not attentive in the class, all the 20 questions that you will see in the paper A and the case studies, your pen will not move only. And I was telling you, if you have a dream of becoming IAS, IPS or IFS, you cannot, I am again saying you cannot without the support of preparation for this particular subject. I can challenge it. People, those who have got IAS rank, if you are in general category, the IAS allotment closes at 80th rank, 80, वहीं पे रुक जाएगा. And if you have to get 80th rank, your overall score in mains has to either touch 850 or cross 850. And without the support of ethics and essay, trust me, it cannot cross 850. It means one particular subject, your entire dream is hanging on. If you put in efforts ethics mein, the concepts that you will read in ethics will immensely help you in your essay paper. Interlinked. See this, interlinking. I'll talk about certain things. In fact, I wanted to take some time before reaching there. See this column, essay and ethics, where people are, how they have reached there. None of them is a topper in interview. None of them. But almost all of them are toppers in these two papers. Almost. Barring apart few places. अगर IAS बनना है, IPS बनना है, तो 3 curtains, I always tell, ethics, essay and optional, leave this interview. These are called iron curtains. This is where you will find the toppers, this is where the rest will remain. Trust me, interviews are going on. I am guiding some people who are already IPS. They are not happy. Can you imagine this? What is your dream? Somebody is already there but not happy. Because there is an iron curtain. They have to cross it. 99% of them, they say the reason why we landed in IPS and not IAS is they gave reason only, and incidentally almost all the interview toppers got IPS. Personality, no? They impressed the board with their personality, they got elevated marks in interview, they landed in IPS. Trust me, since morning I spoke to 6 of them who are going for their interview. All 6 of them currently into the cadre of IPS, not happy with their service. They want IAS for sure, because they feel the mistakes that they have done in the path of their preparation journey. They said, sir, after getting into the service, we realized what mistakes we did. 3 papers we struggled very, very hard to improve our score: optional, ethics and essay. Last 1.5 years, more or less the preparation concentrated in these 3 dimensions only, so that our score gets elevated. Because in GS, more than 120 in any GS 1, 2 or 3 paper is in a way unimaginable. अगर आ गया तो आ गया. 1 odd paper, not all 3. But ethics and essay, there is a history, people getting 180, 190, 170 also. Understand this. So, where, see, if you see this guy Anudeep Durishetty from your country cousin, ethics में कितना आया? 95. You see the overall score, almost the highest scorer, almost, barring apart 1 year before. You know where he scored? optional. Paper 1 mathematics 176, paper 2 mathematics 191. Nobody near also. That is the reason why, despite committing a blunder here, he could land here and did not do well at all in the interview. ये टॉपर का इंटरव्यू स्कोर नहीं है. इंटरव्यू स्कोर ऑफ द टॉपर जनरली 195-200 के बीच में रहता है. ट्रस्ट मी, 2 marks if you get less, your rank will go down by 8 to 9 ranks, because एक मार्क में 4-4-5-5 students would be there. So that is the reason when UPSC every mark counts. ऐसा मत सोचना सर I got only 10 marks less than the topper. Yes, but you got 34th rank. How much difference? Only 10 marks. And what is the rank difference? 34. Will the world remember 34th rank holder after 10 years? Will the world ever forget who was the first ranker? Again never. Anybody sitting here, you do not know these names now by heart? Yes. Why I remember Anudeep Duri Shetty's optional marks till today? There is a reason, no? Why should I remember? मेरा दोस्त ना मेरा स्टूडेंट था, ना मेरा दोस्त था, ना मेरा acquaintance था, but still I remember because I analyzed how can this fellow get this despite not getting this. 2 papers saved him, optional and, और every student के साथ एक ब्लंडर होगा मेंस में, whether it is GS1, GS2, GS3, GS4, and that mistake or blunder will be saved by ethics, essay and optional. इसलिए इन तीनों का प्रिपरेशन इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. 2013 आई थिंक गौरव अग्रवाल, सेम एग्जाम्पल, जीएस पेपर 3 68 मार्क्स. टॉपर की बात कर रहा हूं मैं. पेपर 3 में जीएस पेपर 3 इकोनॉमी पेपर 68 मार्क्स, स्टिल गॉट द ऑल इंडिया फर्स्ट रैंक. व्हाई? बिकॉज ही वर्कड वेरी हार्ड ऑन दीज 2 dimensions and the optional. So understand, when I make a statement, please be attentive in the class. So please be attentive in the class and read this statement. What does the statement read? If someone asks me what is the most neglected paper in the preparation for UPSC, my answer undoubtedly would be essay and ethics. So please day one say, because you are what you call students aspiring to do something big in what you call UPSC. Understand this, ethics knowledge is different, ethical quotient is different. You remember 2015 mein, there was a case in Hyderabad only. One of the current IPS officer was caught cheating in the examination hall. Safi Karim was the name of the IPS officer who got 104th rank in 2014, 104 or 117th rank. 104th rank IAS नहीं मिला, क्या मिला? IPS मिला. फिर से एग्जाम लिखा. हैदराबाद का इंसिडेंट है, वेरी बिग इंसिडेंट. People started questioning the ethics paper itself. One of these parliamentarian made a statement, what is the use of that ethics paper, and this fellow got 108 marks in ethics. 108 is considered to be fairly okay score, but this fellow got 108 score but caught cheating. But cheating in an examination hall by an IPS officer, not accepted. One of the famous institutes in and around was involved. The director was put under the bars because he coordinated something. Just imagine, हम कहाँ रह रहे हैं? Just to get a rank, people are forcing a candidate to stoop down to a level that I will allow you to cheat. The question mark here is, where is the ethical quotient of the officer who is already into service? So when you are understand, this ethics paper is not meant to give you IAS, IPS alone. It is also meant to ignite that ethical value system into your hearts and minds, so that you carry this forward throughout your journey of UPSC. Not only UPSC, लाइफ पर से, अंडरस्टैंड. सो इस एथिक्स के क्लासेस को डू नॉट लुक ओनली फ्रॉम एग्जाम पर्सपेक्टिव. इफ यू डू दैट मिस्टेक, ट्रस्ट मी, यू विल make a big blunder in the examination. So take the lessons from the life perspective, yes obviously examination perspective also. ठीक है. Now come back, लिखो इसका 4 points, please jot it down. Approach to ethics. Why I put the first point start early is, many students think after writing prelims I can start my ethics preparation. After prelims, trust me, students who think I will take optional after prelims, I will do ethics after prelims, trust me, after prelims they will be doing something else. So do not get into the trap. As Manikanteshwar was telling, building up of vocabulary is very, very difficult in ethics paper. If you do not choose the right vocabulary when you are writing an answer, you will be punished, not rewarded. You will be punished. You will be surprised to know the words that you use in the normal parlance, regular usage lo ఏ పదాలు అయితే వాడతారో వాటికి కూడా చాలా డెఫినెట్ మీనింగ్ ఉంటుంది. So whether you are using the right vocabulary or not during the entire course of your answer writing is also important. Now for example, stop writing for a second. For example, there is a word called conduct, there is a word called character, there is a word called nature, there is a word called moral, there is a word called value, there is a word called what you call honesty, there is a word called integrity, there is a word called ego, there is a word called superego, there is a word called id. All these words have different word meanings. One of the philosophers says there are no two words with same meaning and same intent. He says you pick up any two words, they cannot convey 100% the same meaning. If any two words convey the same meaning, it means the second word is only redundant. You try any two words, you feel if there is no difference in that two words. Can anybody try this? Any two words, रेगुलर पार्लेंस में जो तुम यूज करते हो, हाँ, any word, hard work, what is the synonym that you use for hard work? Perseverance. But hard work and perseverance are not two same words, completely different meaning. हार्ड वर्क परसिवरेंस कब बनेगा? इंटेंसिटी में वेरिएशन इज देयर. when will hard work become perseverance? when the hard work is consistent with an element of faith, then it becomes perseverance. So if you do not understand the meaning, very beautiful example, neutrality and impartiality, what is the difference? Both the words sound to be similar, but they are completely different. In ethical quotient, see, ethics is a subject which is coming from philosophy, which is taking its roots from psychology. ये सारी चीजें बताऊंगा, don't worry. I am today just a boot camp to shake you from inside. Okay, this paper is not easy. That's the idea of the boot camp, that you need a dedicated effort. When I use the word impartiality and neutrality, some of you are seniors sitting here. Can anybody tell me the difference? What is neutrality? बोलो बोलो बोलो. What is the difference? Guess, make a guess. Intensity? No. Somebody said, in general somebody can be neutral, but in a situation if somebody maintains neutrality, then he becomes impartial person. For example, just a life example. There is a parent, there is a family, wife and husband, and maybe a teenager son. The teenager son goes and picks up a fight with the neighborhood son of the neighbors. The neighbors come to your home and they complained about your son's misbehavior to your parents. In this scenario, the mother will not be impartial, she will be partial, supporting her son, the father will be impartial. There is a pura psychology है, बताऊंगा जब वो time आएगा, that there is a reason why mother behaves partially, why father behaves impartially. So all these dimensions have to be understood by you in the right perspective. I have seen some ethics classes on YouTube videos. Trust me, I have a good laugh and at the same time pity the students who are sitting in that class where the recording is happening. Okay? Because people are made to by heart the definitions in the classroom. I will not make any one of you do that. Trust me. But you have to understand, as I told you, where to use a particular word in ethics. Nahi to you will not get marks. In place of impartiality, if you use neutrality, in place of honesty, if you use integrity, honesty and integrity is a very common word, right? Common word, interchangeably used. Again the same fellow says, no, they are not same. They are something, there is some difference in both. Anybody? What is the difference between honesty and integrity? Though they sound to be similar, but they are not. What is honesty? In general language, I don't want you to give any technical definition. What is honesty? Straightforwardness and honesty are two different things. You may be straightforward but may not be honest. Ethics में बहुत मजा आएगा. हाँ, ट्रूथफुल और ऑनेस्टी का कोई कनेक्शन नहीं है, किसी और के साथ है कनेक्शन, बताएंगे. हाँ हाँ हाँ. Honesty, अच्छा, can I put it in a way, adherence to rules and regulation. He is trying to say, if there is a rule or regulation that the class will start at 5 o'clock, that the class will start at 5 o'clock, or we'll change the example. For example, your office time is 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Office time is 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Incidentally, your boss was not there. Every day he also sits till 6 o'clock. He ensures that everybody follows the times and everything. So 5 o'clock when he is sitting in the office, you look at the clock, only after 5 you will leave the office. One day he left at 4 o'clock with some work. Without intimating him, you left at 4:30. What do you lack? Integrity. Because honesty in the absence of somebody regulating you, if you display that, that is integrity. So just see, the words that we so commonly use have such a big different meaning. अभी एक और word, you will be surprised, एक word हम use करते हैं attitude. अरे वीड चाला attitude रहा. Generally we use this word, no, very loosely you use the word attitude. But the meaning of the word attitude in real terms is not that. In this psychology and philosophy, the word attitude has got completely different meaning. We'll learn over a period of time. Another word is like ego. Arey vidki ego hai pura. And he will not buzz, his ego is very strong. But trust me, ego is a positive word. It is the id which is the negative word. But we always use the word ego in a negative parlance. Somebody having ego, it means he is good. But what has happened over a period of time, in colloquial language usages, certain words got a definite meaning other than their real meaning. So you cannot commit that mistake in the ethics paper. Trust me, पेपर बहुत सिंपल आएगा और तुम्हारा पेन नहीं हिलेगा. अगेन व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, पेपर बहुत सिंपल आएगा और तुम्हारा पेन नहीं हिलेगा. And overall in the examination, it is said as per a survey which I did not carry, was neither part of it. It is said in the entire examination mains 3 hours जो भी time मिलता है, if your pen is stopping for 18 minutes or more in that 3 hours time, you are out of the race. उस 3 घंटे में if your pen stopped for more than 18 minutes, it means your hand stopped for more than 18 minutes, you are out of the race. And again I am telling you, your hand will stop mostly in ethics paper. Ethics and one more paper which is very very difficult, international relations. Pen hilega nahi. So very very important from the right itself is make a word list since the foundation. इसका एक पूरा I will also give you vocabulary का पूरा I will give you, don't worry. From the perspective of ethics, if you do exactly the way I tell you to do, I can promise you for sure one thing, provided you are able to represent it, I can promise you, you will cross this figure. Provided you practice and approach the paper the way I ask you to do. ठीक है? एथिक्स का एक चैप्टर आता है लास्ट में केस स्टडीज. आई जस्ट शो यू दी सिलेबस शीट ऑल्सो. दिस इज द सिलेबस चैप्टर्स ऑफ एथिक्स. लास्ट में एक चैप्टर आता है केस स्टडीज. पीपल थिंक राइटिंग आंसर टू द केस स्टडी इज द इजीएस्ट of the ethics paper. Believe me, it is the toughest. Why? Because, for example, in the recently held परिश्रम mentorship में ethics का एक इनको क्वेश्चन दिया था लिखने के लिए case study में, that there is a contract of a bridge construction from point A to point B. Listen to the case study carefully. बाद में लिखना chapters. There is a contract work of elevated what you call corridor construction happening. The background given to it is a very important constituency where this elevated contractor ka work is going on, related to CM's constituency, and within next 6 months the state government is going for elections and the project has to be definitely completed within next 3 months. If it does not get completed in next 3 months, the inauguration cannot happen, because the moment the model code of conduct becomes applicable, you cannot do any major inaugurations during that period. The election commission will not agree to it. And you are one of the junior engineers in the project. One day you find out that there is a crack in one of the pillars, and which happens to be one of the load bearing pillars of the entire corridor. And there is a possibility, if that crack is not addressed on time, the entire corridor may collapse, having fatal casualties also. What all options are available in front of you is the question. And to complicate things, I put in certain other riders also. I said you are due for promotion and your immediate senior engineer, he does not want the project to get stopped at any cost. If you raise this issue, definitely you will be kicked out of the job. If you raise this issue, the CM will be unhappy with you. Maybe your company will have to face the music. All these backdrop stresses I gave to the student. And the question was simple. What are the options available to this junior engineer? And almost 90% of the people wrote the first option, he will keep quiet, because of the fear of loss of job. Now tell me, 80 घंटे ethics पढ़ाया, 80 hours of ethics with me in classroom, so much of personality washing in the last 8-9 months, and this is what the first option they wrote. Now tell me, how do you expect UPSC to appreciate your option? You have to give way out of the problem. Nobody denied you from going out of the box and trying to get that pillar of the corridor repaired. But what you chose to. Now tell me, the job that you have applied for, if people like you choose to keep quiet, what will happen to the country? You getting my point? So that is why understand, ethics paper is not a test of your ethical intelligence. Please try to understand. Even if you do not know who is Daniel Coleman, even if you do not know who is Immanuel Kant, people will not punish you. But if you lack basic ethical dimensions in your personality, then people will surely punish you. There are two platforms where UPSC tests your ethical quotient. One is the interview, the second is through the ethics paper. So understand this. So whenever you are, see, एक हमेशा cardinal principle you note. Whenever you have to make a choice between your personal gain or loss or the country or the nation's personal gain or loss, it is always the country first. At least for the sake of examination, it is always the country first. Okay? So understand this. Whenever, whatever capacity, they may tell you are the junior most engineer. You may be the junior most engineer, but you will definitely put this point across. And ethics का आपको bureaucrat बना देगा. Example में, you are an IAS officer. I have seen many students writing answers में, options में, I will release this news or leak this news in social media. Trust me, you cannot live after that. If you do that mistake, and if you think people are naive or idiots to not know that it is you who leaked it, people are not idiots. आजकल सब पता लग जाता है किसके मोबाइल से पहले निकला है. So try to understand, you can never ever take the route of leaking it through social media. Never ever. So all the routes of direct communication with the media for you are cut. In the options they are cut. अगर इतना ही लिखने की इच्छा है in the options available, maybe 6th option, 7th option or 8th option, moment you write this option, bracket में लिखना least suggested option. हमेशा लिखना. Because you asked me what are the options available, I am writing this option. But if given an opportunity, I will not take this option. That's the message you have to give. Leaking the information to the social media. But bracket में क्या लिखोगे? Least recommended or least suggested option. So understand how you have to play with the vocabulary in ethics. ठीक है? चलो. Out of all, generally it is said that there are 7 chapters in the ethics paper. Trust me, the first chapter will cover 40% of your syllabus, the lengthiest chapter, and 40% of the questions in UPSC ethics paper will come from the dimensions solely from this or connected dimension with this and this. So 40%. So chapter 1 is the most important chapter in ethics paper. Lot of dimensions will come into play in this chapter. Ethics and human interface, entire dimensions of all the concepts related to ethics will be covered here. Values, norms, all these things will be covered here. Okay? Lengthy chapter hai. It will take approximately 7 to 10 days to complete this particular chapter. Means approximately 18 to 20 hours इसी chapter में लग जाएगा. Why? Because once this chapter is done well, your takeoff to the other chapters would become very, very easily. Okay? When approaching the classes, the sequence of classes will not go as per the chapter. Maybe while doing this, I may cover certain segments of this here itself. I may cover certain segments of this here itself. There is one more dimension called human values, though not given as a separate chapter, but it is related to attitude and aptitude. So I will cover that also when it comes to the ethics and human interface only. So understand, the first chapter will take the maximum time. Here when we come to the contribution of moral thinkers, both India and world thinkers will talk. There is a long list. We will try to list out all of them what they have told. You guys are lucky. till 2021 also, he used to just give a statement and he never used to give the name of the author who gave that statement. But from 21, 22 onwards, in fact 23 also, he is giving you the name of the author also. So how it helps you is, when you know the personality in general, you can write certain attributes of that personality as part of your answer. Because if just a statement is given without the name of the author, you do not know who made that statement, you do not know in what context that statement was given, the background and all is not known to you. But the moment name is given, you know, like if say for example, I give a statement, tolerance, forgiveness and all, Niche Dalai Lama. So now you know what all I can include in my answer related to the, the ethical dimensions as preached by Buddhism also and Dalai Lama also. So it will help you to elevate your answer presentation. So you guys are lucky, 21, 22 say they are giving the name of the authors also, right? These two chapters will happen very fast. बहुत जल्दी खत्म हो जाएंगे, ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं लगेगा. Maybe a day or day and a half for each chapter, but very, very important. You will not be able to write answer to these chapter questions without strong understanding of this chapter. So direct linkage है ये दोनों chapters का with this chapter on ethics and human interface. ठीक है? And my suggestion to all of you is, whenever this first chapter is going on, if you do not understand any word that I speak as part of my lecture, you have always the right to stop me and ask me to explain. No matter how small that word or vocabulary would be, if you do not understand, you tell, sir, idi ardham galedu, you repeat it again, or we will make a note of it. Okay? Because that's the reason why I am saying, initially we will start with terminologies, then I will gradually take you into the first chapter. These two, my aim is to complete this ethics and human interface either by 10th or 11th. This is my target. Either complete or take you near, because after that I want to leave you for the festival and all. Once we come back, then we start with the other dimensions. Maybe in one of the Sundays or Saturdays or any particular day, I may take a long session for 6 to 8 hours also for you. The idea is to complete this so that you can, when you go back home for your holidays, you keep revising what has been taught to you. That's the idea. Okay? Chalo. Now, with this small introduction, I thought I'll give you about ethics and then we will start the discussion. Right? Now, there is a word called aptitude. Aptitude Telugulo emannochu manamu? Acha, any synonym word closest to aptitude? Capability. Can I use the word capability? Aptitude, capability. But again, as I said, two words cannot convey exactly the same meaning. They cannot convey. It means there is a difference between aptitude and capability also. For example, do you agree with me when I make a statement, the Virat Kohli that we know today did not have the capacity to be Virat Kohli in the absence of certain aptitudes. See, nobody is, whosoever whom you see as success symbols, whomsoever you admire as success symbols in the world today, they are not what they are today in the absence of aptitude. Lata Mangeshkar had the aptitude to sing. You know what you call Sachin Tendulkar had the aptitude to play cricket. Usain Bolt had the aptitude to run the fastest in the world. When you say aptitude, certain dimensions get added to it. What is the dimension? Though he had the capacity to run faster, along with that capacity to run faster, he also had the capacity to train to be the fastest in the world. Say for example, I was born with equal capacity with that of Usain Bolt to run faster. But Usain Bolt practiced because of the attitude to train, aptitude to train. See, that is the reason why, understand why the word is aptitude. Whenever you are trying to teach something somebody and he is not able to catch, you say, "Arey veediki aptitude ledra." Then what are you trying to say? He does not have the capacity. whenever you try to see any successful person, be it a musician, be it a singer, be it a dancer, be it a businessman, any businessman whom you admire or whom you follow, understand, they have aptitude for only two things. Trust me, business is all about only two things, innovation and marketing. बिजनेस में तीसरा कोई रोल नहीं है. ट्रस्ट मी, बिजनेस कैन बी डन विद जीरो मनी ऑल्सो. बिजनेस कैन बी डन with zero ethical, losing any ethical dimension, provided you have two quotients. One is innovate, second is to market about you. So understand why so many people become successful overnight and why so many people struggle for a longer period of time. Because people who lack the aptitude of understanding the importance of innovation or understanding the importance of what you call trying to give the market that it wants, then you will not sustain in the market. Understand? So when you say aptitude, what am I saying? It is a set of abilities required to be successful in a specific field. So what does it mean? One, it is a set of abilities. When we go to the chapter on attitude, I will talk about Polgar sisters. You know, very beautifully, there is a person called Laszlo Polgar. Laszlo Polgar. He trains 4 of his daughters to be the best chess players in the world. Polgar sisters का बहुत बड़ा एक case study है in the world. This case study is studied in Harvard, and one after the other sisters became the greatest chess players in the world. So that's what he says. The aptitude to some extent can be improved upon, and he himself was a chess player. It means it is a combination of genetic support and also the capability to train under a best of the minds to be the best champions in the world. That is the reason why he is using the word set of ability, not an ability. Understand, aptitude is not a single ability. It is a combination of set of abilities. As I told you, I was naturally a born cricketer, but if I do not go to the academy, if I do not train under an expert guidance, maybe others who were not born with my capacity but a lower capacity but got training under an expert, they will obviously surpass me. Yes or no? So they will cross me in their performance. Though I was born with a capability, but for some reasons I did not have the capability to train under somebody, so my natural talent will not be sufficient for me to become successful. Understand this. So that is the reason why it is a set of abilities required to be successful in a specific field. What does it mean? Every field has a specific set of abilities to be successful. But generally it is said that success is a combination of these 4. What are these? One is hard work, second is interest, third is aptitude, and it is training. Aptitude is basic ability to do some things, right? Now, for example, I know a family whose daughter is excellent in golf. Trust me, in my entire service of 20-25 years of my service in the forces and other things, I have never seen a better golf player than her. But she does not have interest. Never ever she came out of the field losing a tournament. Never ever. Bade players, and she is a 14, 15 years old, 16 years old when I saw her. And I was aghast. If you know the golf rules and all, almost all her rounds were birdies. Birdies means, say for example, if you can take 4 shots to reach from a starting point till the hole, if you take less than 4, it means it's a birdie. Means less than a shot, what was actually required. And if it is a 18 holes golf course, trust me, she used to get 18 to 20 birdies. It means where people were putting a ball in 6 to 7 hits, she is putting it less than 4 when the required number of shots was 4. So understand, people have got natural talent, but there may be a possibility that they may not have the interest to do. वो महेश बाबू का पिक्चर है ना, what is that picture's name? श्रीमंतुडु. He got a natural talent of business. His father says, when will you take over my business? He says, I don't have interest. Then he tells his father, what was your father? He said he was a farmer. That's what he said, he was a farmer. Then he asked him the question, why you didn't become a farmer? So then he is trying to tell his father, let me do where my interest lies. So many a times there is a possibility you may have the aptitude but may not have the interest. If you do not have the interest, this will suffer because you will not put in efforts because you don't have interest. If you do not have interest, this also cannot get you. So to be successful in any field, it is generally said that these are the 4 pillars. And most of us generally understand we are sitting in the wrong place. We are sitting in the wrong place, most of us. Most of us. When I say most, the figure is 99%. Why? Because you created your own definition of success. See, I'll tell you today itself. I think in one of the classes I made a statement. You have to marry UPSC. UPSC के साथ जब तक शादी नहीं करोगे वो नहीं मिलेगा. एक्स्ट्रा मैरिटल अफेयर्स यूपीएससी के साथ नहीं काम करेगा. You have to marry UPSC. And when will that marriage happen? Obviously interest के बिना शादी होती है क्या? आजकल तो शायद ही नहीं होती है. Yes or no? Is there? Have you ever heard in the recent past somebody was married against his or her wish? In the recent past, maybe one, very few. But when I was a kid, trust me, almost all the marriages were against the wish. Now the trend is changing, right? So the same way, if you do not develop interest in your UPSC preparation, no matter how much, see, the best part is you can improve the aptitude with training, but you cannot improve the interest with training. नहीं आएगा, because the nature did not design you for that. Understand? That is the reason why if you have this, it alone cannot. That is the reason why it is a set of ability, and in this, other than aptitude, most important is interest. Okay? Understand this. And very, very important, every field has a specific. People ask me why there are 17 subjects in GS. What is the use of history in UPSC? What do you call selection procedure? What is the use of CSAT in selection procedure? We are too young to understand the importance of that. You have to trust it. If they have kept history, ancient, medieval and modern and art and culture, they want you to know about it in the right perspective. You cannot question the authority there. If you start questioning the authority, you will not show interest in the training. And trust me, in this anyone is missing, you cannot be successful in life. So now, if I give you a question, make a question, likho. Discuss the importance of aptitude. Discuss the importance of aptitude in the success of a person. In the success of a person. 100 words, not even 150 words, 100 words में लिखो importance of aptitude. Right? Now, whenever you write, ethics का आंसर राइटिंग का अप्रोच थोड़ा अलग है. Understand this. the approach to answer writing in ethics is little different than your GS answers. Whenever there is a word based on which the question has been asked, try to give the definition of that word in the beginning. If the question is on aptitude, make a small box, try to give the definition of that particular word in the beginning itself, right? So that it gives an impression that you know the technicality of the subject also. Okay? So understand, and trust me, if this is the definition, is there a need to by heart it? Aptitude is a set of abilities to be successful in a specific field. It primarily encompasses 4 dimensions, that is hard work, interest, aptitude itself, and lastly supportive training. Do you have to by heart this? The only thing that you have to do is you have to regularly revise it. The beauty of this subject is, if you do not revise, this is one beautiful subject, you will completely forget. Trust me, one subject that you will completely forget if you leave this subject for more than 7-8 days. उसके बाद कुछ भी याद नहीं रहेगा. If I ask you who is Daniel Goleman, मेरी तरह ऐसा गोल गोल देखोगे तुम लोग, ये कौन था, ठीक है? So please revise this subject regularly. There is no good textbook in the market on this subject. DK बालाजी, क्या Decode Ethics, मुदित जैन, एक और कोई किताब आती है, ट्रस्ट में एक भी ऐसी किताब नहीं है जिसको पढ़ने के बाद यू फील यू कैन गो एंड राइट द एग्जाम कॉन्फिडेंटली. योर क्लास नोट्स वुड सफाइस, नो नीड टू बाई एनी बुक. ट्रस्ट मी, एथिक्स जो मेरा क्लास अटेंड करेगा, दे डोंट हैव टू बाई एनी बुक व्हाटसएवर, अननेसेसरली डोंट पे देम मनी. ठीक है, चलो. नाउ I told about aptitude in 5-7 minutes or maybe 15 minutes. It is a chapter. पूरा chapter है. So many other dimensions. Now, if I ask you a question, what all factors affect the blessing of an aptitude on a particular person? Is Virat Kohli born everywhere? No. At some places Virat Kohli is made also. Yes or no? What does it mean? It means the natural capability was limited, but with the training the capability was enhanced. You know, when Usain Bolt started running, we only know the Usain Bolt who started winning gold medals. But do you know 2 Olympic medals before also he started participating, and almost always came last in the run. It means the world did not observe Usain Bolt when he was coming last. The world started observing Usain Bolt only when he came first. Understand? Usain Bolt in one of the interviews, उसका एक बहुत बड़ा प्यारा वीडियो है YouTube में, if you can watch that video. He says Olympic में when he got gold medals, a couple of gold medals in single Olympic, people said it is so easy for you. Okay, you have to run for 9 seconds and you will get a gold medal. You know what reply he gave? I ran for 4 years to run for 9 seconds, because Olympic comes in every 4 years. He said, I ran for 4 years to run for 9 seconds. So understand the importance of training. So आपके aptitude के आंसर में, in your aptitude answer, try to give adequate weightage to the training dimension also. ठीक है? हाँ, next most important, attitude. Very important word in ethics, attitude. In layman's language, anybody can tell what is attitude in a layman's language? Huh? Way of thinking. He says way of thinking is attitude. Way of thinking is attitude. Okay. थिंकिंग हैज सो मेनी कनेक्टेड थिंग्स, ठीक है. हाँ, एनीबडी एल्स? बिहेवियर, वे ऑफ बिहेवियर इज एटीट्यूड. वेट, अच्छा सॉरी, बिहेवियर, वे ऑफ बिहेवियर, क्या बेटा? अप्रोच. इन व्हाट सेंस अप्रोच? అంటే ఏ సెన్స్లో అప్రోచ్? రెస్పాన్స్ టు ఎ సిచ్యువేషన్. अच्छा, is there a possibility that your attitude and behavior may not match? think एथिक्स में आंसर जल्दी नहीं देना. हर एक क्वेश्चन एक पिट है, डाल के ऊपर से ढक्कन बंद कर दूंगा. हाँ, कैन देयर बी अ सिचुएशन वेयर देयर इज mismatch between your attitude and your behavior, and what is it that controlling your behavior despite the fact that you have a particular attitude? For example, you hate your boss from the core of your heart, but can you slap him or can you abuse him on his face? But your attitude towards your boss is negative. But why is it not reflected in the behavior? It means there can be a possibility that there is no sync between attitude and behavior. अरे मेरी बात समझ में आ रही है? It also means there is a possibility that the attitude may not be displayed in behavior. अरे समझ में आ रहा है कुछ? It means there could be certain things that are stopping you from displaying your attitude in your behavior. What is that thing? Environment. Better word. I told you, ethics is a game of words. हाँ. I gave you an example, no? You hate your boss. You feel he does not know anything. All feel. I too especially feel. ठीक है? That this fellow doesn't know anything but has become a boss. ठीक है? Now, अरे बाबा जोक है, हंसना भी होता है कभी कभी, ठीक है? Why my attitude is not matching with behavior then? Morality is a very big word. मार खाएगा. I hope it is not COVID. हाँ, have some water. हाँ, हाँ बेटा. Status. हाँ, कौन था ये? उसको पता है नौकरी जाएगी. He hates his boss, but he is not being abusive to his boss. Why? Because फर्स्ट को पेमेंट वही तो देगा. It means the coherence between attitude and behavior is missing. Now tell me, if there is no coherence between attitude and behavior, how do you know a particular person has a particular attitude? Attitude ka, it is one such word, it has got three levels of definitions. It has got three levels of definition. In the main chapter I will talk about it. Three levels है definition के. Third level आते आते तुमको clarity हो जाएगा what attitude is all about. So can I make a open statement that attitude is orientation or inclination of a person towards any psychological object which can be either positive, negative or ambivalent. I will explain. What is a psychological object? What is a psychological object? Anybody? There is something, say for example, this is a, what is this called? Rostrum or a podium, whatever we call. This is podium, this is rostrum actually. but some people call it podium. Okay, we take it. Podium is a pure physical object. Pure physical object. Now, as per this definition, what it is saying, it is orientation or inclination of a person towards any psychological object which can be positive, negative or ambivalent. It is talking about a psychological object. Can there be a possibility of you having a positive or a negative feeling for this podium? सोच के बताना आंसर, जल्दी नहीं. In what scenario you can have a negative feeling for this podium? Stage fear, if you have a stage fear, or else standing here, Oberoi Sir took your classes, and Oberoi Sir made you stand here to take classes, which I will do in due course of time, don't worry, that time will also come. Responsibility. Okay. Any other reason? Why you are developing negative this thing? Because it may show to the world your true worth in particular shade of your capacity to stand and talk in front of the audience. It will show to the world a particular shade or gap in your growth as a perfect personality. अरे समझ में आ रही बात नहीं? So it means that your positive or negative can be both to a physical as well as to a physical. तो समझ में आ गया. Now what is this psychological object? Anybody? Nehru? What is this psychological object? Opinion. Example दो. कौन बोला? हाँ नेहरू. Which opinion का example दो? For example, I told you attitude is the orientation or inclination of a person, यही बोला था हमने, of a person against towards a psychological object which can be positive, negative or ambivalent. Ambivalent means confusing. ठीक है. When and why you will develop a positive or a negative opinion on a psychological object. Say for example, he says political opinion. Can you see the political opinion? No, but you can feel the political opinion of a person. If I am leftist in my inclinations, if you spend 3 months with me, you will understand, अरे मोदी ఎంత మంచి చేసినా సార్ తిట్టడం తప్పితే ఏం చేయడరా. It means sir has got leftist inclinations. Now you can develop a positive or a negative dimension towards my psychological object. Yes or no? So that is why you need to understand, whenever you talk about attitude, you are actually not talking about what he is projecting to you. It is basically about his opinion, positive, negative or ambivalent about a particular psychological object. And the beauty is, when we go deeper into the chapter, I will tell you, human being can also become a psychological object. When you start liking or hating the opinion of that particular person. For example, I like a particular film star. I have my own reason to develop a positive attitude towards that person. For some reasons, you have a negative opinion about that film star. So because I have a positive attitude towards that person, my positive attitude towards that person, that could be a reason for you to dislike me because of my positive attitude towards that person. So in this scenario, a human being is also becoming a psychological object. अरे कुछ समझ में आ रही है बात? Why? Because this is all tested in UPSC. Is when you get the power or the authority, under you so many people from different stratas of life would be there. Some would be religion minorities, some would be caste minorities, some would be political minorities, some would be social minorities, some would be economic minority. Yes or no? What kind of attitude you carry towards that people will determine whether your action towards them would be positive, negative or ambivalent towards them. For example, 1984 Sikh riots happened. 1984, when Indira Gandhi was assassinated by certain Sikh bodyguards, riots happened in Delhi, in and around Delhi, where the Sikh community people were targeted. The government could have immediately sprung into action and controlled the mob, could have. But what the government chose, this is not my statement, it is a report of a committee. But the government chose the violence to happen. It means it did not react to that. It means the government's approach to stop the crime was ambivalent. Try to understand. So what happened in this gap? Whosoever wanted to vent the anger, they vented the anger. So many hundreds and thousands of Sikh people were killed. Understand? So what the government failed in having a positive attitude to stop the violence from happening in the first place, because the government in power was more carried out by the feeling that their sitting prime minister was killed by the assassins belonging to that particular community. So a complete set of humans became a psychological object, and the entire machinery of the government developed a particular feeling towards them for a short period of time. Understand this, how and why a physical object can turn into a psychological object, and how the attitude can be displayed against that object. अरे समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं? Yes or no? Now it says a psychological object can be a person, a material, a place, a community, a country, a book, a color, a thought or a feeling. यही बोला था हमने. I gave you an example of a person, how a psychological object can be. Say for example, there are some people who fear color yellow. The moment they see color yellow, they start having what you call palpitations, because there is some genetic problem in them. The moment they see color yellow, they start. So over a period of time, what will happen? Though color yellow is a physical object, because of their issues with the color yellow, they will start developing a negative feeling or negative attitude towards that color yellow. Understand this, how a particular physical object can turn into a psychological object. Okay? See the beauty. One person can possess thousands of attitudes at a given point of time. And one more beauty, attitude is not permanent, it is subjected to change. Understand this. There are many factors on which the attitude ka change depends on. When we go into the chapter, we will talk. But one way of changing somebody's attitude, it is known as persuasion. Persuade. You try to tell the other person, ila kadra, ila kadra, ila. So, as I told you, give you an example of yellow color fear. No? If somebody has a fear for yellow, gradually through treatment, that color would be introduced to that person. That color would be introduced to that person, lighter shade, darker shade, darker shade, darker shade, darker shade. Gradually that color would be introduced. What is this? This is the process of removing the negativity, bringing the ambivalence, and finally bringing the positivity towards that particular color. So what they are doing, they are trying to persuade a person that this yellow color will not harm you in any particular way. एक शाहरुख खान की पिक्चर थी ना, I don't remember the name of the movie. Oh, my name is Khan, I am not a terrorist. क्या था पिक्चर का नाम? The famous dialogue of that movie. In that movie, this fellow has this problem that he cannot withstand the color yellow. ठीक है? It is a genetic problem. ठीक है? Now, what does it say? But why is it that UPSC is concerned with the attitude of a person or a candidate? Why? Because a person with a specific attitude may not be able to deal with the challenges of being a civil servant. For example, if someone has a negative attitude towards a community, towards a specific caste, of gender based bias, would be misfit in this society. That is the reason why the attitude of a person do matter. That is the reason why जो आपका interview है, you call it interview, but it is actually a personality test. It is a personality test. Understand this? लॉजिक, ठीक है, वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. If somebody has not understood anything what has been talked since the beginning, you can ask, we will try to revise that. Then we'll take a quick 5 minutes break and then we'll come back. अरे कुछ समझ में आ रहा है? क्या समझ में आ रहा है? कि बहुत मुश्किल है समझना. हाँ हाँ. The homework for all of you would be, when we start the batch from the 8th of January, the homework for all of you would be 2013 ethics paper has been introduced. What you will do is, whatever questions have been asked till today on the topic of attitude, you will just write the question and come to the class. Homework समझ में आया? Homework क्या है? 2013 से लेके अभी तक whatever questions were asked on the topic of attitude, there would be some topics which are part of attitude which you may not be aware that it is part of attitude. It's okay if you don't write, but try to write all the questions that UPSC has asked in the past related to the topic of attitude. ठीक है? Now, अच्छा, is the fear of social outburst that there is no coherence between attitude and behavior? That is the reason why जब हम एटीट्यूड का डेफिनेशन देखेंगे, रिमेंबर दिस वर्ड, इट इज ऑलवेज बिफोर द वर्ड बिहेवियर द डेफिनेशन एड्स फ्यू मोर वर्ड्स. इट सेज टेंडेंसी टू बिहेव. इट विल नॉट से बिहेवियर, इट विल से टेंडेंसी टू बिहेव, बिकॉज दिस टेंडेंसी कैन चेंज इन अ पर्टिकुलर कंटेक्स्ट. दैट इज वाई whenever it is trying to draw coherence between attitude and behavior, it will not say attitude has a particular effect on behavior. No, it will say a particular attitude will result in a particular way of tendency to behave. Why? Because it may not be the same behavior is reflected in the actual scenario. So it is only using the word tendency to behave. So जब भी attitude का definition लिखते हो, you should always write tendency to behave. ठीक है? हाँ, okay, okay. 5 more minutes, don't worry. 6:25 हुआ है. After 5 minutes we'll give the break. अच्छा, any other question? What all has been covered till now? Any particular field where you feel aptitude cannot be developed over a period of time? Any field you feel that where you feel a particular skill set, sir, जो by birth है वो by birth है, it cannot be improved upon. Any particular field you feel that it cannot be improved upon, whatever the nature has gifted you, you will remain there whatsoever training you take in future. Is there anything like that? But physically challenged people also can do so many things. ऐसा नहीं. See, when I make a statement, try to find out. See, for example, you had a good throat when you were born, but will that good throat alone make you a good singer? No. You have to practice. रियाज करना पड़ेगा. Under a trainer you have to work hard. If you do not work hard under a trainer, you will not become the singer that the world knows. We only know Sonu Nigam that he sings very well. What we do not know that he gets up at 3 in the morning every day and he does his riyaz for 3 to 4 hours every day to maintain that throat. He cannot have cold drinks the way you have. He cannot have beer and whiskey the way you have. He cannot have cold ice creams the way you have, because he has to maintain certain amount, certain type of lifestyle to ensure that his throat is not, he cannot eat the spice the way you eat. He cannot roam around in the open air the way you roam around in ASHOKNAGAR. उसका गला खराब हो जाएगा. I was saying. So understand, my question is there any field or any skill set you feel that you cannot improve upon? Whatever is gifted to you by nature, you will remain at that level of proficiency. Is there any skill set? No, right? No. What does it mean? It means In every field you can improve upon with hard work, with training and with interest. अब समझ में आ रही है बात? What is the importance of the word aptitude? So that is the reason why the GS paper 2 in prelims, civil services aptitude test. Whether you have this aptitude in you or not to be a civil servant is what they are testing you in your prelims. You do not complain कि तुम पेपर टफ कर रहे हो. Can you complain? अरे तुम पेपर टफ बना रहे हो और बोल रहे हो I do not have the aptitude. He says whatever is the standard of the paper, it is applicable equally to everybody. I never stopped you from training. I never stopped you from hard work. I never stopped you from getting interest in that subject. Maybe your natural ability may be at a lower level, but with these three you could have come ahead, which you chose not to. If you have chosen not to, you are not in the race. Simple. Okay? Understand why the structure of the examination is such. Repeat the dimension related to psychological object. We divided the objects into two types, physical object and a psychological object. We said anything that you can see with your naked eye becomes a physical object. Some things which you cannot see with the naked eye is a psychological object. But physical objects can also take the form and shape of psychological objects. Like my liking towards somebody can be a reason for you to hate me, or my hating somebody can be a reason for you to hate me. It means though I am physically visible to you, I have become a psychological object because of my positive or negative attitude towards a person or a psychological object. You developed a positive or negative attitude towards me. So attitude is nothing but either a positive or a negative inclination towards any what you call a person, an object, a thing, a thought or a feeling. For example, you came to know, for example, you were neutral about me as a person. One day you came to know I am doing so much of NGO work related to helping some poor people in some dimension, whether providing them food, shelter or anything. What attitude you had towards me will not remain the same after you come to know about it. What will it do? My doing some things created a positivity about me as a person, and your attitude towards me changed in a positive way. Earlier it was ambivalent, after that it became positive. So that is the reason why the attitude is not permanent, it is subject to change. One thing you need to understand. For example, एक और example देते हैं, very beautiful example. You were always a health conscious person. Ever since your youth, you always took care of your health, had a controlled diet, did not indulge into pleasantries too much, did not go beyond the line of boozing, taking drugs and all. So you always maintained that sanctity when it came to your health. Suddenly one day you were diagnosed that you got diabetes. Trust me, your attitude towards maintaining good health will change, because you maintained everything before you were diagnosed, but still you were diagnosed with diabetes. The happening of an incident in your life can also change your attitude. That's the reason why attitude is not permanent, it is subject to change. Now how this change can happen or cannot happen is a very important factor you need to understand. If your attitude is strong, based on ethos, it cannot be changed. If your attitude is weak, not a core attitude but a peripheral attitude, it can be easily changed. That is the reason why making somebody change their religion is not easy, because the attitude of positiveness towards their own religion forms the core of their attitude, which is very strong. It becomes very difficult to be changed. So you need continuous persuasion maybe propaganda also to some level, to force somebody to change their attitude towards a religion. Understand? So here religion can become a psychological object. Because can you see religion? No. You can feel religion through the practices. Understand? That is the reason why in the definition physical object likha hi nahi. Because anything can become a, that is the reason why a psychological object can be a person, a book, a material or anything. Like I had fear for mathematics throughout my childhood, throughout my engineering college. Maths anangane hurr, I will run away from there. That was me. It means I developed a negative attitude towards a subject. It became a psychological objective for me. So understand how things change. How things change. You need to understand this dimension well. Okay? So any physical object can become a psychological object. Any physical object can become a psychological object. Understand this. It can be a person, a book, a place, very important, a place. If you have had bad experience at a place, the thought of that place will bring certain shades of negativity in you. And if you have a good memories of that place, the thought of that place will lift up your mood and at a particular point of time. So place is a physical object, but what it has happened become here? It became a psychological object. Okay? I hope that's clear. Now anonymity. Yeah, Nehru. See, when you go to character, ये थोड़ा 5-10 स्लाइड आगे चला गया, इसको वापस लाते हैं. ठीक है? Character is nothing but repeated conduct. Sir, conduct and sir. Understand? There is a difference between conduct and behavior. At this level, don't understand, but just understand there is a difference. How you conduct, how you behave, two different words. But generally, English lo manam em anukuntam rendu same. But I told you, no similar words have same meaning. It means conduct has got something, behavior has got something. If you conduct in a particular way repeatedly, that becomes your character. For example, every day the class starts at 6 o'clock. You every day as a student come at 6:05, 6:08, 6:10, every day. It means if you can come exactly at 6:08, 6:10 every day, it means you have developed a character that being punctual is not important. Understand this. So over a period of time, your repeated conduct will become your character. The same goes positively. You have class at 6, every day you are sitting at 5:55. Dot. Over a period of time, people will start saying, Harihara Reddy is a person holding a character of punctuality. Even if the sir is coming 5-10 minutes late every single day, he makes it a point that he will sit at 5:55 in the class because the instruction said the class starts at 6 o'clock. Understand this. So repeated conduct, he displayed a particular character. Now his question, how can character influence our attitude? If you are impressed by the character of a person or an object over a period of time, it can influence your attitude on him or her. Understand? So character के ऊपर भी attitude positive या negative बन सकता है. For example, in a group of friends, you will always find one friend who is very aggressive in his nature. In a group of friends of 4 or 5, ఒక భీముడు పక్కా ఉంటాడు. Yes, ఒక భీముడు పక్కా ఉంటాడు. So now, over a period of time, you define him to be an aggressive character, and knowingly or unknowingly, subconsciously, you will develop a specific attitude towards that person. What will happen? How you tendency to behave, I told you. You want to tell it on his face that I don't like this personality shade of yours, but you will avoid knowing that he is an aggressive person. You have a negative attitude towards him, but you will avoid telling him, knowing that that shade of negative attitude he will again display. Your attitude is negative, but you did not display that in the behavior, because it is only till a point tendency to behave. So attitude, character can also influence the attitude about a person or a place or a habit or a thing, anything it can be. Okay? See, that's what I am saying. There is no physical or psychological object where attitude does not play a role in this world. Be it your chair where you sit and study, be it your room where you live. See, that's the reason why whenever you are tired throughout the day, the moment you reach home, the tiredness is lost. Instantly it is lost. Why it is lost instantly? It is not that you got some relief instantly. You are not entering into sauna bath. But the moment you see the house, the stress levels automatically come down. We had a practice of erstwhile, not now. You have to wash your feet with cold water before entering the house. It was basically meant whatever stress elements that you were carrying, they should be washed out, and when you enter the house, you have a pleasant or controlled mindset. Yes or no? But that habit has been stopped now, because the cooling of feet will cool down your emotions drastically. That is the science behind cleaning your feet with cold water before entering the house. Obviously not carrying the viral load and all, that is also there. But the more important dimension is this. So what is the dimension? Whatever negativity you were carrying, you should not carry it to your home. So that is the reason why understand whatever you are doing that has a link with your attitude, whether positive or negative, Trust me, whether it is a subject, whether it is a teacher, whether it is an approach to any dimension of your life, you will develop a attitude for everything. But the bigger question is whether you will display the right behavior with the right attitude is a big question mark. At home, your behavior and attitude, if you have that zone of acceptance of your behavior, it will be in complete coherence. Say for example, assuming one of you have the habit of smoking. We will assume Mahendra has the habit of smoking. Assumption. I hope he doesn't have. Okay, good. He has the habit of smoking. Can he ever think of smoking in the class when I am present? He knows this will come in the air. Yes sir. He wants to behave in a particular way, but is it allowing him to behave? So the attitude and the behavior are not. He is craving for cigarette now, but he cannot have it because the class atmosphere does not accept this behavior. So he is behaving in a different way when the tendency to behave is in a different way. So the coherence between attitude and behavior cannot be ever established completely. That is the reason why there is an old English proverb. How you behave when nobody is watching you, that is your real you. That is where your attitude and behavior are in perfect sync with each other. Because you know that nobody is watching me. It means that it is the social context that controls your attitude and tendency to behave. Understand this. इसका मतलब यही है, if you are a Tarzan and left in the jungle alone with the animals, what will you become over a period of time? An animal like them. Understand these dimensions. Okay? And it is said that if you are left in the jungle, in the wild for good about 8 to 10 years, you will forget how to speak also, because you know the language because you are repeatedly either hearing it or talking with somebody. When you don't have anybody talk to or hear anything, over a period of time it is said that we tend to forget the language also. you will miss on to certain words that you will not know that this word can be used to talk. Okay? So understand how every shade of your life attitude is physically present. Trust me, your attitude influences your dreams also. Your attitude influences your dreams also, whether positive or negative. Now, come back to this anonymity. See, anonymity means you are not trying to take credit for everything that you do. It is called maintaining secrecy. Say for example, listen to this. For example, you were posted as district collector in one of the districts in Andhra Pradesh. Suddenly, one day you get a call from the secretary, the chief secretary of the state, come to Hyderabad or come to Visakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh, where they will go, I don't know. Whether they will go to Guntur or Vizag or Amaravati, God only knows where they will be called. Assuming they will be called to Amaravati. Okay? You go to Amaravati, the chief secretary tells, I am giving you an important job. You need to do a survey of a particular tribal community in this particular state. And I want the report within next 6 months. And he says, you have to maintain utmost anonymity, secrecy. Nobody should know that you are in charge for the work that is given to you. You are a young IAS officer. Out of exuberance, you took some videos when you were interacting with the tribal community and you posted it very happily on Instagram. Trust me, heavens will fall on you. Trust me, heavens will fall on you. You will see none of the cadre will support you. There would be maybe 300 more IAS officers in the state. You know what is the worst punishment somebody gets? Social outcast. What happens? The moment your name comes in any report or any finding or any media leakage, you drop a hi message to somebody, they will block your number. It is bigger punishment than the real judicial punishment. That people will social outcast you, and the burden of this social evil you will have to carry the rest of your life of political journey or the professional journey. So this is the biggest fear that the world carries, social outcast. So whenever you are working as a bureaucrat, you will be specifically told, and I hope you are aware, the moment you take over the appointment as IAS, IPS or whatever you become, you will be made to sign a document called Official Secrets Act, by which you are not supposed to divulge what nature of work you are performing in the office to any social media platform or any media platform for that matter. Okay? So understand, anonymity is basically a virtue. Some students ask, sir, vadanta kashtapadi pani chestunnadu kada, why he should not tell that this work I have done? Why? For example, after that survey of a particular tribal community, that tribal community got immensely benefited out of the work this bureaucrat did. If that be the case, why this bureaucrat should not be praised for that work publicly? But you were the chosen one. अगर 300 IAS ऑफिसर थे स्टेट में, why you only got the call? Some? अभी पढ़ा है. Maintaining secrecy is also an aptitude. मन కాగదు, అరగదు, నిద్ర రాదు, చెప్పాలి చెప్పాలి, ఎవడు దొరుకుతాడు రా ఎవడు. Yes or no? But there are some people who can keep it secret. See, always remember, bureaucracy lo, if you are doing buttering to your seniors, they will enjoy it. Inka jerabba bale undira. Enjoy this. But when it comes the time to choose somebody for a particular job, you will not be the one, because they know this fellow will do buttering. They enjoyed your buttering. రోజు పొద్దున్నే గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ మెసేజ్, వాడు ఒక్క రిప్లై కూడా ఇవ్వడు. నువ్వు తప్పకుండా 6 o'clock పొద్దున్న లేవగానే గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ మేడం అని పెడుతున్నావు. మేడం పలకట్లేదు, ఉలకట్లేదు. అండర్స్టాండ్, దే నో దట్ యూ క్యాన్ బి సబ్జెక్టెడ్ టు deceit or influence by somebody. So having the aptitude to keep some things secret. Again, aptitude is a set of abilities. You have to work hard for that. You have to train for that. And not everybody has a aptitude to keep things as secret. We are social human beings. For example, tomorrow Harihara Reddy gets All India second rank. The moment you get All India second rank, what is the first thing you will do? Instagram post, WhatsApp status, Telegram status. Why? Did she share the agony of her journey with everybody? Why is she wanting to share the success? Why? Social recognition. Because the moment you did some big job, you are eager to tell the world, I did it. And the bureaucracy does not want that to happen. See, trust me, bureaucrats have done big jobs, and they have ever since remained in secrecy. Because any output of a bureaucrat may have political outbursts also. The government does not want a particular bureaucrat to become a victim of that outburst. And at the same time, the government does not want you to take the credit of that also. Because you don't need that credit for your survival. But he needs that credit to come back to power next again. So if you take the shade of his credit will be limited. So he will never allow you, it is for your good also, that you should never be in the limelight. You should never be in the limelight. Trust me, any bureaucrat who can maintain anonymity at best, he will be going to sleep happily. The moment you come into limelight, over a period of time, the moment you become IAS, IPS, 1-2 साल you will be very active on social media. उसके बाद धीरे you are lost in the social media. Why? Because the seniority of your bureaucracy demands an elevated aptitude from you, where you are asked to go out of the social context completely. Because you start taking important portfolios and you cannot be seen the way you were seen earlier. A time will come. Have you ever seen Chief Secretary putting a post on social media? Or the DGP doing so, or the Commissioner doing so? No. Why? Because they are holding important appointments. So, maintaining anonymity. Now, anonymity is an attribute. Yes or no? Now, again I told you, different fields, different levels. If I compare anonymity between civil and military, where will you find anonymity more? Military. Means the importance given to anonymity as a value differs from field to field, differs from place to place, differs from person to person also. There are few people at home also, you will see, that generally don't share so easily. It means they are naturally gifted to keep some things with themselves. వాళ్ళని పోక్ చేస్తే కానీ చెప్పరు, కొంతమంది చేసినా చెప్పరు, కొంతమంది ఏం అడగకపోయినా నువ్వు ఎప్పుడు అడుగుతావా అని చూస్తారు. సో దే వాంట్ టు rattle out. So it is a natural ability also. But if you want to be successful as a bureaucrat, you have to develop this anonymity. ठीक है? And this is one dimension. Interview में इसमें सवाल पूछे जाते हैं. The questions will be asked to you in interview from this. ठीक है? हाँ, very important word. ఒక్క నిమిషం. కాగ్నిషన్ అన్న వర్డ్ అనేది మొత్తం ఎథిక్స్లో చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్. సో బీ అటెంటివ్ అనేది. సి బ్రింగింగ్ గవర్నెన్స్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇన్ ఎథిక్స్ పేపర్ అప్ టు ఎ పాయింట్ ఈజ్ accepted, but not beyond. See, running a state has its own plus and minus. See, your entire administration, you will learn over a period of time, is based on secrecy. The world may know it, but you cannot tell it openly. The world may know about it. నీకు తెలుసు, ఈ విషయం అందరికీ తెలుసు, but you cannot tell openly. Understand? So whenever you are writing an answer related to anonymity, you cannot bring in the element of governance reforms where people are talking about removing the anonymity. No, you cannot write, because if you do so, then you are questioning the demand of the question. That is not correct way of approach to write the civil answers. Okay? Yeah. Now coming to the next word, cognition. COGNITION. Now listen, if I make a statement, your decision to do UPSC was based on cognition. Cognition ante రాయండి, information, knowledge. Now whenever I use the word cognition, it means something where either information or knowledge whose processing happens. Various types of processing, heuristic processing, conditional processing, chala types unnai. When we go into the chapter, I am just giving you a run through how ethics will be for you. ठीक है? It is not the complete chapter. ठीक है? एक एक word बहुत लंबा chapter चलेगा. ठीक है? Now, when I say cognition, I said info, knowledge and its processing. So can I say almost every decision that we take in our life is based on cognition? Yes or no? Almost every decision that we take in our life, whether to do UPSC or not, based on information, knowledge that you process, can I do it or not? Then you do a mental construct, how many years I may take. I may take 2, I may take 3, I may take 4 years. So based on the information given to you, based on the knowledge that you have, and the processing that you do with the help of somebody or your own self processing, you come to a decision, I may be able to complete it in 2, 3 or 4 years. And based on this, you took a decision that you should do UPSC. Yes? No. Where you can go wrong? You can go wrong in the information that is given to you. You can go wrong in the knowledge that you got about a subject. You can also go wrong in the processing. It means any decision that you take based on cognition is subject to very, very important errors. Error, either it could be in the processing stage, it could be in the information gathering stage, it could be in the knowledge stage. So need not all your cognition be always right. Always right. Understand this. Okay? Now, why this is important is, understand this, very important, connected with attitude. I will connect it here itself. In the process of developing an attitude towards anything, cognition plays an important role. Yes or no? For example, you develop negative attitude towards a particular community. when you were a child, your parents told you repeatedly that people belonging to that community are bad. This is a general statement your parents gave. And whatever information and knowledge was given to you, when you were a kid, your processing capability was also limited, and in this backdrop, you developed an attitude of negativity towards a particular community. But as you grew, you started interacting with the people of that community, and you found that there were errors here. The information that was given to you by your parents was not completely true. Now tell me, in the backdrop of changed information and knowledge that you have, will you not reprocess it? And in this reprocessed cognition, you from becoming negative, there is a positivity that you may become either positive or maybe initially ambivalent, then gradually positive. It means on what cognition your feeling for a particular psychological object is based, it also determines whether you will develop a negative or a positive. How processing capacity you have. Now, there is a child who is normal, there is a child who is mentally retarded. Don't you think the processing capacity of the two children is different? Yes or no? A child who is normal will be able to process things well. A child who needs support may not have this capacity at all. Over a period of time, his entire attitude building is dependent on only the knowledge and the info that you give him, because he or she does not have the capacity to process it. So now understand the correlation between cognition and attitude. So can I make a statement? Cognition is a precursor to attitude. Yes or no? Can you develop a negative or a positive attitude towards anything without this or without this? Imagine. Can you imagine that without having any of this, can you develop an attitude towards anything, be it positive, negative or ambivalent? Can you? Can you? No. It means in the formation of attitude, I am using a sentence, in the formation of attitude, cognition plays an important role. Right? Write a question. Discuss how cognition plays an important role in the formation of an attitude with suitable examples. Don't look at me, I also forgot what I said. Discuss how cognition plays an important role in the formation of attitudes. उसके बाद क्या था? With suitable examples. Age is catching, I am forgetting. ठीक है? अरे समझ में आई बात? No. We will go back to the definition. Mental processes. Cognitivism focuses on mental processes, including how people think, perceive and learn to solve their problems and direct their attention to one stimulus rather than another. Cognition refers to the mental action or process of acquiring knowledge and understanding through thought, experience and the senses. ये 3 words लिखो, thought, experience and senses. The information that is coming to you, it can be through a thought, it can be through an experience and it can be through your physical bodily senses also. ठीक है? So anything and everything which is through a knowledge base or an information base where certain amount of mental action and processing happens is nothing but your cognition. ठीक है? And different individuals have different capacity to cognition. Different individuals perceive the same data in a different way. Yes or no? Different individuals can perceive the data in a different way. It means not only the information, certain elements also affect the cognition capacity. It is the thought, it is the experience, it is the senses. For example, a child has been bullied by a particular person when he was a child. Bullied means he used to hit him whenever he meets him, or he used to physically or mentally abuse him. When the child grows, he starts hearing many positive things about this person. But because of the experience that the child has, direct experience from that person, no amount of information, no amount of knowledge is allowing him to develop a positive attitude towards him, because the past experience, which is a direct experience, it is holding him back from developing a positive attitude towards this thing. So whatever cognition may processing happens, the thought, the experience and the senses also play an important role in the formation of an attitude. Understand this. ठीक है? अरे समझ में आ रहा है? Yeah, very important topic in the ethical learning. Say, the session is till 8, no? Remind me when it is 7:40 or 45. Anybody? Okay. Now, this is a theory of consequentialism. Don't read the text, just see the photo. Again, don't read the text, just see the photograph. For example, you are this lineman. You are this lineman who is responsible to operate this track. You got a information कि एक ट्रेन जो आ रही है, it is coming, it has lost control, the driver has dozed, सो गया दारू पी के, और ट्रेन अपनी मर्जी से चल रही. You know, ahead of this on a track, 5 people are working, to whom for some reasons the message cannot be passed that a railway, that one particular train is approaching them at very high speed, and we are unable to give you the information to get out of the track. And you also know, in one of the diversion, there is only one person on the railway track working. What the theory of utilitarianism says is maximum good to maximum people. The theory of utilitarianism says is maximum good to maximum people. If you are a follower of utilitarianism, automatically you will divert the train to this path to ensure that instead of 5, only one person will die. But now, here also there is death. But as per the situation, he was not supposed to die, the train was supposed to go straight. But you took a decision, you diverted the train to this track, and he died when he was not supposed to die. So understand, there is an ethical dilemma here. There is an ethical dilemma where to shift the steering of the train. So what the utilitarianism says, consequentialism is an ethical theory that judges whether or not something right by what its consequences are. For example, most people would agree that lying is wrong, but if telling a lie would help save a person's life, consequentialism says it is the right thing to do. Yes or no? If you are a believer of consequentialism, now, not telling lies is a value. Listen to this carefully, very beautiful connotation. Not telling lie is a value. Now, if it is core value of yours, telling a lie would be very difficult to you. But if it is a peripheral value for you, పొద్దున్న లేస్తే అబద్ధం చెప్పే అలవాటు ఉంది, so it will not be very difficult for you to tell one more lie. Yes or no? The value of lying, if it is core to you, it will be very difficult. Say for example, you were sitting in the classroom, your friend bought a fight with one of the gangs in the college, and your friend just went to the washroom, and these fellows came and asked, where is Yash? Today we will see his end. And you could read in their face कि दिख गया तो सलाज मर जाए. And you are a person for whom telling the truth is the core value of your personality. And they ask you, they are holding rods, chains and whatnot, where is Yash? How will you respond? If you tell Yash is in the washroom, I also want his end, it means you have valued your value than the value of saving somebody's life. Understand this connotation. You have valued the value of telling truth over the value of saving somebody's life. But if you decide and if you process this information, information is what? These people have entered, this fellow bought, వీడికి అలవాటే ఏదో గొడవ పెట్టుకున్నాడు, వీడు చంపడానికి వచ్చారు వీడిని. You tell them, he just left 10 minutes before. Now tell me, as per the theory of consequentialism, if you have done this, you are a believer of what you call consequentialism or utilitarianism. Okay? Maybe over a period of time, their anger will come down, they may sit and talk to Yash. Okay? Or if you have this mind, you can immediately tell them, he just left in 10 minutes, you tell me where you are, I will bring him myself there. What does it mean? Third situation. They know that you will not tell the truth. Obviously same college, no? Itna to pata chali jata hai. Okay, they also know Sahiti will not tell the lies, not truth, sorry. Sahiti will not tell a lie. Will they accept Sahiti words that after 10 minutes she will bring? Yes or no? But Sahiti decided not to take. It means what has Sahiti decided? She has decided to get aside her value of not telling lie at the cost of saving the life of Yash. It means at times you have to weigh which value to uphold, which value to leave. Which value to, this is the biggest dilemma for a bureaucrat, trust me, biggest dilemma for a bureaucrat. For example, one more small example, you are a medical officer of a district. According to one program, one project or one program, you were told to identify certain elderly people who need health assistance and you were given a particular criteria list. So as per your that criteria list only, you were told to identify the list of elders in your district who can be given this health benefits. You identified based on a list of criteria given to you. On the day that you were submitting this list to the government, one elderly couple came in their 80s or 85 plus in a very destitute situation for including their name in that list. But for some reason, they did not satisfy the criteria. Whatever criteria the government gave to you, they did not fit in that criteria. And you as a medical officer, you know, if they do not get this support, they may not even survive. They would perish over a period of time. Now, you are in an ethical dilemma whether to include their name in that list or not. If you do not abide by the terms of reference given to you and include their name, tomorrow there would be an inquiry on you. You have the fear of that also. Because you know, people are eyeing you, you commit a mistake and we will catch you red-handed. And people are ready even to prove that you took some monetary gratification from them to include their name in that list. So you are in an ethical dilemma. So understand how ethical dilemmas can confront you as a civil servant on a day-to-day basis. So that is how understanding of this subject is very important. What will you do? What will you do? The situation, second situation. You will tell the lie and save them. Anybody seconding her opinion? Agreeing with her? You will agree. Okay. Anybody else? Money? Defined. Criteria is defined. They are not fitting in. You tried all permutations and combinations. They did not fit in there. My question is simple and straight. They do not deserve to be benefited under that scheme. Simple. And they badly need it. చెప్పురా ఏం చేస్తావు బయటికి పోమంటావా వాట్ అరే ది క్రైటీరియా హ్యాస్ బీన్ డిఫైన్డ్ బాబా ది criteria has been defined that on whether it is age criteria, whether it is socio-economic background criteria, whether it is caste criteria, whatever it is, they are not fitting in there. What will you do as a medical officer of the district? Okay, he says, shut up and do what I have told you. Again, same reply. Ruled out. ఓకే ఒక సెకండ్ ఇండివిజువల్ సపోర్ట్ ఏం చేస్తావు పర్సనల్ డబ్బులు తీసిస్తావా నీకు వచ్చేది 60,000 జీతం See, as a district medical officer, trust me, you will be so influential that you can take care of them through any other means also. If they are not fitting in a particular scheme, it does not mean that they will not fit in other schemes. The reason why that situation is given to you just to see whether you will follow the rule of law or not. The scheme never said don't support them. Being a district medical officer, if you call up a hospital and tell take care of them, they have a medical emergency, trust me, they will do. Trust me, they will do. It means if you can use your good office to support them, you can always call up an NGO who is taking care of the elderly. You can always call up, as he said, but not complaining that they are not falling into this. No, that you can't do because the criteria is very fixed. The senior will tell you very politely, next time don't call me for these flimsy reasons. Because your senior also went through this cycle of life before reaching there. So he wants you to find a way out. It is not that he does not want you to help them. ऐसा नहीं है. He wants you to find a way out of that. You cannot do any illegal. As Sahiti said, no matter I will include their name. You cannot. Any decision which is not taken objectively, I will talk about it, objectivity and subjectivity. If you take a decision on subjectivity where emotion plays a role, you are at risk of future inquiry. If you take a decision purely on objectivity, what is the rule book, what is the position, what is the number, what is the criteria, if you have taken the position of that, nothing can happen to you. As a bureaucrat, many a times a situation will come where you will be forced to take a subjective decision. Trust me, if you do that, you are inviting trouble in future. If you have to take a subjective decision, you have to have your safeguards ready. You have to have your safeguards ready. If somebody is not eligible to be included in that list, let heavens fall, you cannot include their name in that list. आई बात समझ में? If you really want to help, as she said, personal capacity always open, institutional other capacity always open, any external help from an NGO or a renowned family who are willing to help, all this information is at your fingertips. Use that channel, not denying, but you cannot include the name there. Understand? So understand the theory of consequentialism, but whenever you are taking a call, there is always an ethical dilemma. Trust me, if you have taken a decision to route the train here, you will live with the guilt that somebody died because of you alone. Yes or no? If you are a person of that nature, నా వల్ల ఒకటి చనిపోయాడు, You may forget because of you 5 people survived, but you will remember for life because of you 1 person died. Understand, this is how the consequentialism theory works. It also says utilitarianism and hedonism. Understand these two meanings here itself, then we will try to close today's discussion. The two examples of consequentialism are utilitarianism and hedonism. What it says, utilitarianism judges consequence by a greatest good for greatest number. So it is basically numerical in nature. Utilitarianism is numerical in nature. Whereas hedonism on the other hand says something is good if the consequence produces pleasure or avoids pain. Understand? While utilitarianism is concentrating on numbers, hedonism is basically concentrating on the outcome, whether it is giving you pleasure or it is avoiding pain. He is not talking about the numbers here, he is only talking about the pleasure or avoidance of pain. Okay? Understand? And this decision has to be taken within fraction of seconds. Decision has to be taken within fraction of seconds. Now see, within that fraction of seconds, cognition about information. Cognition is there, you have information, so many people working here, so many people working here, immediately processing happens. Here 5, here 1. Now, if you have an attitude of consequentialism or utilitarianism, then you will go for a particular thing. If not, you will go for a particular thing. See, if you are a believer in, it is a destiny, let the destiny take a call. They were destined to die. Possibility, Baba, possibility. He is not destined to die. They were destined to die because the train was scheduled to go on this route. Let me not do anything. Let the destiny take its toll. You can be a person of that. You can always give this explanation. Sir, I did everything to stop the train did not stop. If they ask you why you did not, you can always say there is one more person there also. They cannot punish you for making a choice of here, because at your level you are a lineman. So your attitude is limited with some foundations. Understand this. Your attitude is limited with some foundations of understanding. So they will not punish you for your decision. But if you are a person who believe in consequentialism, that is utilitarianism, then definitely you will divert the train onto this track. Generally we all believe by nature greatest good for the greatest number of people. Greatest good for the you want to increase the difficulty level of the question. Now your real attitude, behavior and tendency to behave will come in play. If that is a true friend, even if there is 100 people here, you will hedonism. Pain, you will not be pained by 100 people death, but you may be pained by. So all these factors and spontaneous decision will happen. Okay? We will cover this empathy and sympathy. Come again. Mostly yes, but there are certain corrections. जब consequentialism में आएंगे main chapter में तब बात करेंगे, ठीक है? Because second order thinking has some limitations also. We will talk about it. Now, we always heard this word empathy and sympathy as a common word. Yes or no? Can anybody tell me what is the difference between the two? Empathy and sympathy. दोनों में फर्क क्या है? एक में ई है, एक में एस है. Huh?
Empathy means thinking ourselves in their position and feeling it.
Example. Correct. Example. Good. Person is begging for money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he is a middle class person, but begging for.
Middle class people don't beg for money. Hello.
I mean, huge money, sir.
Huge money.
Yeah. Just sympathy means we pray that he may get some money from other people. Empathy means.
Any other example? She is there but not able to explain. Not Nehru. Sorry, Nehru chep. Parvali chep. Mahinder. Simple. Come again. As children.
As children, we generally have some sympathy towards parents.
We have sympathy towards. I never had it.
Generally, you are an exception.
Acha, I am an exception.
When we become
You have sympathy with your parents? No, she also doesn't have. You are an exception, not me. Huh?
and when we become parents, we empathize with them because we know what is the pain of having a child.
Again, good example. But I'll explain you it in a much better way. थोड़ा सा change करेंगे example. Say for example, you are in your intermediate. You and your friend, very close friends you are in intermediate, you are doing MPC. नारायण चैतन्य 5 बजे का अलार्म, ठीक है? That is the friendship, right? Now, your friend lost her mother. Your friend lost her mother. And both your parents are hale and healthy. Your friend lost her mother. You can never empathize your friend. You can only sympathize with your friend. Because you do not know the pain of losing a parent. In the same example, if 2 years before you also lost your mother, the pain that you experience for your friend losing that mother will be much more deeper and larger than if both your parents are alive. It means, as Sahiti told, you have to get into the shoes of the other person, experience what other person is experiencing. If you have the capacity, then it is called empathizing. If you are just being an external actor and trying to show some sympathy of external support, it is just but sympathizing. It is always said that in a comparison of value, empathy is a higher value than sympathy. You may wash your hands off in sympathy, maybe by giving 100 rupees to somebody or 200 rupees to somebody. I always give this example when you on a signal on a bike with your girlfriend behind you, you see a beggar coming towards you. To impress upon your girlfriend, you will take out 10 rupees note and give it to him or her. But within 2-3 seconds, you will forget about that person. He will be ever erased from your memory. But if you are a person who empathizes with that person, that is when you will stop by and ask what made him or her stand at the signal and beg for money. It means your empathy quotient is there. You are trying to go a little deeper than what you can. And if you have experienced that yourself in the past, then the way you can connect to the situation of that person cannot be if you have never been able to do that. See, क्या होता है ना? The self-esteem is the highest value for anybody. Understand this. Self-esteem is the highest value for anybody. That is the reason why we always talk about eradicating the practice of manual scavenging. हम इसकी बात करते हैं, GS में the concept comes. Manual scavenging is basically the people who work, cleaning your drain pits and all, they are called manual scavengers. Okay? So, they are doing that against their self-esteem out of compulsions of survival. Yes or no? You cannot empathize with them ever if you have not done that in the past. Try to understand what I am saying. You can empathize with them only and only if in the past you also were subjected to that feeling, how it feels to do that particular job. So in bureaucracy, though you may not be physically made to do everything like what the others are going through, but it is said that you have to develop a capacity of empathizing with others. Be it a political cause, be it a historical cause, be it a ethnical cause or religious cause or whatever it is. So you are trained to not sympathize but empathize. The other dimension to this is, if you are only sympathizing, it means you are thinking from the power of an authority, position of an authority. If you are empathizing, you are going down from the power of authority or position and trying to find a solution for them. So in sympathy, you are using the power quotient to help somebody. In empathy, it is basically the willingness to bring change is driving you. It is not the power that is driving you. So you should always empathize and not sympathize. So this is the basic difference between the two words of empathy and sympathy. Okay? Understand? See, entire ethics, see, I always tell my students is, what you were today before the start of ethics class and what you will be at the end of the ethics classes will be a different you, for sure. If you are humans, hello. If you are not, I can't do anything. Okay? Why? Because that is the purpose of introducing the ethics, what you call syllabus to you, to bring, क्या होता है, many a times we commit certain ethical errors unknowingly, and the government feels or the UPSC believes that if certain amount of ethical learning happens at the stage of preparation itself, there is a high chance that it will be very difficult for somebody to spoil you in the service, because you've been subject to certain amount of learning. Trust me, whatever you will learn about ethics, it is just the beginning here. Once you go to Masuri and entire service period, you will be subjected to lot of ethical conditioning time and again. Because as a person, as a superior officer in the power of authority, you will have so many powers. If you are not ethically grounded time and again, you may abuse your power against somebody. So that is the reason why, with this intention, ethical conditioning classes are conducted at regular intervals to all levels of the higher officers, So the basic idea of this ethics class is basically to bring out the best in you ethically, at least. Okay? So the many chapters on, we'll talk about norms, we'll talk about Nehru brought a topic of character, we'll talk about conduct, we'll talk about what you call emotional intelligence. Whom do you call to be intelligent? Ability to solve a problem is intelligence as per him. Anybody, do you think there is any other shade to intelligence? Hanji? Act according to situation. Okay, situational intelligence is what she is talking. There are 8 shades to intelligence. हम बात करेंगे इसकी. बहुत beautiful topic है, emotional intelligence. If say for example, it is said that I am not in agreement. It is said that boys are good in directions. It is said that boys are good in direction. It is said that boys are good in driving when compared to the girls or women. Men are good at driving skills. But is this rule universally applicable? May not be. There would be some exceptions also. Okay? Now, if you make an attitude that women don't know how to drive, the moment he started laughing already. I also have this attitude. सामने वाला ऐसा ऐसा करता है, I used to see अम्मा है अब्बा है. If it is a girl, I will maintain distance because I know the consequences. ठीक है? Because I have an attitude which is probably negative towards that the women have the capacity to drive, because they think multiple times, multiple dimensions. They will think, "Vaade chuduskoval kada." I am like, he he hasn't. So at least you, no. He came in the wrong direction. I have experienced with my sister and my surroundings everywhere. They say he was wrong. I say in accident every time the opposite person is only wrong. So you have to incorporate this in your driving skills. So chalo, leave aside. Now, when you develop a negative attitude towards something, understand that will build an opinion in your mind about that over a period of time. So whenever you are in a power authority, if some decision you have to take, if you are influenced by a particular negative attitude, you will end up taking a negative decision against that person. So the entire idea of bureaucracy is to remove that influence of pre-existing attitudes in your personality, so that you take an objective decision and not a subjective decision. I told you subjective decision making is dependent on emotions, opinions and beliefs, but objective decision making is dependent on facts, information and the data that is made available to you. So understand the importance of ethical learning in the process of UPSC preparation journey. Okay? So we'll talk about emotional intelligence. So when you said intelligence is about finding solution to the problem, then what happens when the dimension of emotion is added to it? What happens? Emotional intelligence. When somebody has the capacity to influence others also in decision making, in a layman's term I am telling you, it is called emotional intelligence. You have complete control on your emotions, you also get control on others' emotions through some means by gaining their confidence and other things. So it means you have emotional intelligence also. Now understand, a person with high emotional intelligence but with bad intentions is good or bad to the society? Obviously, Hitler is a classic example. A person, it is said that if you attend one meeting of Hitler, he will mold you into his belief system. That is the capacity of his oratory skills to influence you by his oratory skills. And he has a very strong emotional intelligence to control your emotions also. And if that person assumes a bad character or a bad thought process, he is the biggest threat to society. See, a person with high IQ and low EQ is the biggest threat to society. A person with high EQ, emotional quotient, when I say EQ, emotional quotient, and bad intention, again है. See, जितना भी corruption scandals होता है, big corruption scandals, they are done by high IQ people. Low IQ people क्या करेगा? Pocket चोरी करेगा, किसी का दूध का पैकेट लेके भाग जाएगा, उससे ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं कर पाएगा. See, a small IQ person, his limit of doing wrong is very limited. The effect of it is also very limited. But the high IQ person's doing wrong to the society is very wide. So whenever you see a big scam has been done, it means a high IQ person is involved in that. Understand this. And maybe a person who has a very strong EQ quotient also. So that is why it is said a combination of high IQ and high EQ with bad intentions is the worst combination in the society. Is the worst combination in the society. Much worse than a person with low IQ and low EQ, since even then bad intentions. Because his capacity to do bad thing is very limited. Chota mota chori karega. 1,000 rupees pickpocketing, 500 rupees some theft here and there he will do. But a person with high IQ and EQ, he can bring down the entire country also. So understand why people are, and trust me, when we come to EQ class, 75% of the world is average to below average IQ. It means our capacity to do certain things is limited by and large. And when I say 75% of the world is average or below average, it means it is the only 25% which is intelligent. It means the threat to the society is larger from, understand this, because you pass this examination, you are in the 25% category. it means the threat to the society from you is bigger than the person who failed the examination. जो यूपीएससी में फेल हो जाएगा क्या होगा? मैक्स किसी कंपनी में जॉब करेगा या किसी इंस्टीट्यूट में मेरी तरह नौकरी करेगा, क्या बुरा कर लेगा? क्लास 2 घंटे की जगह 1 hour 40 minutes की लेगा. Nothing more than that he can do. But if you become a bureaucrat with bad intention, high IQ and high EQ, what wrong you can do to the society is much more larger and deeper than what a person who has not done. So that is the reason why they are trying to add the ethical element to your personality. Understand this? ठीक है? So ethics को don't take it only from UPSC perspective. Don't do that mistake. Ethics is basically to bring in change in your personality as a whole. The more you accept the change, the more you will change as a person. Okay? So that's what I said. What you are today before the start of the class and what you will be at the end of ethics module, trust me, you will be a completely changed person, provided you respond. If you are stoned the way you are now, that change will not come. Swati, understanding? Okay? Any doubts anybody has? You can ask for 5-7 minutes, then we can go.
In case of objectivity, as we are not to
Come again?
in case of objectivity, as bureaucrats are required to follow the rule book, but rules cannot be an excuse for justice.
Rules cannot be an excuse for justice. Bada statement. See, nobody has told कि justice इस rule book से ही आएगा. The desire to bring a change, you can find a solution beyond the rule book also. Listen, as I told you, a district collector के पास कितना power है तुम्हारे imagination भी नहीं आज की date. You do not have an imagination how much power you hold as a district collector. And if somebody comes to you with help, asking for help, trust me, it is only your willingness that can stop, or unwillingness for that matter, that can stop. Otherwise, if you have the willingness to help, they cannot go back empty-handed. That is your capacity. You see, over a period of time, because of you being in that chair, you will come to know who's who in the entire district, which is the family which is ready to support, which is the family which is meant for a particular cause, which is the family which has to be taken care of. All these dimensions you will come to know. When two people walk up to you asking for certain amount of help, if it is within the rule book, then and there it is in your hand. If it is not, you can move the entire district to help them and ensure that that help is extended to them in the way you desire to be extended. So that is the power. So need not be the solution or justice come from the rule book alone, because rules are meant for a particular cause. If somebody is not fitting into that, nobody is stopping you finding a solution out of the rule book. But it does not mean you will amend the rule book. That capacity is not given. If anybody is falling within that, very good, I am very happy. If not, this is the way out. Okay? Understand that. And trust me, अगर वो rule book में होता, probably limited support. Here there is no limit. Now it is your capacity, willingness to help till what extent. Trust me, till what extent. So there is no foundations here. Here there is a, if the pension is 1,000 per month, it has to be only 1,000. It cannot be 999, it cannot be 1,001. But here there is no foundation. So understand, it is basically the intention to bring the change is what it matters. Automatically result will come. Okay? Yeah, mine. See, compassion or empathy mein, when you bring the dimension of compassion, you add the dimension of responsibility. In sympathy, I told you, from the authoritative power, जेब में से 50 का ले जा, no. When you are compassionate, it means you are accepting that you are responsible to bring that. When you talk about compassion, that's the reason why it is always told to the civil services these civil servants especially, to be compassionate, so that you don't think that मैं इसके ऊपर बहुत बड़ा एहसान कर रहा हूँ. No, no. It is your responsibility to bring a positive change in somebody's life. That is how you are bringing the element of compassion towards them and not sympathy towards them. So compassion brings in the element of responsibility in you, so that you are not aid कि मैंने इसके लाइफ में पॉजिटिव चेंज लेकर आया, सी आई एम गॉड. नो नो, यू आर रेस्पॉन्सिबल टू ब्रिंग दैट चेंज. सो द एलिमेंट ऑफ रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी एड्स इन कंपैशन. आई वाज समझ. सो इट इज बेसिकली टू टेल यू दैट यू आर नॉट ग्रेट बाय ब्रिंगिंग दिस. बेटा तेरे को नौकरी दिया है इसी काम की. Even sympathy also looks for solution, but sympathy is only not being involved there, giving it, forgetting it. But empathy is trying to be there, feel what the other person is feel and do it. When it comes to, see, empathy can be driven by compassion and vice versa also. Understand this. But sympathy के साथ नहीं बैठेगा. So empathy and compassion can go together. Because you are feeling responsible for somebody can also ignite your empathy for somebody. Right? So that is the reason why it is always taught to you कि तुम जो काम कर रहे हो ना, कोई greatness नहीं है, तुम्हारा ये काम है. You are responsible to bring a positive change in somebody's life. So you are made to be compassionate. But what happens because of the authority, so much of authority, trust me, एक एसपी को लगता है कि वो भगवान है, लगता है ना. जब वो डीजीपी के ऑफिस में जाता है ऐसा खड़ा हो जाता है. भगवान क्या बन गया? सबऑर्डिनेट हो गया. बट उसके डिस्ट्रिक्ट में वो ऐसा चलता है. डीजीपी ऑफिस में से चलेगा, कैमरा में देख के बुला लेगा अंदर, बोले इधर बहुत चौड़ा हो रहा है, तो इधर थोड़ा चौड़ा ठीक करता हूं. सो अंडरस्टैंड, इफ समबडी इज डूइंग दैट इन द डिस्ट्रिक्ट, इट मीन्स वो उठ गया हवा में ऑलरेडी. इट मीन्स ही इज लॉस्ट द ग्राउंड. The moment you lose the ground, there is a fear of falling. If you are standing on the ground with both the feet on the ground, will you fall? No. There is a fear of falling either when one foot is in the air or both in the air. जब तुम ऐसे हो गए, both feet in the, it is only a matter of time that you fall. See, understand, that's why it is more individual. I will talk about this, when we talk about how value inculcation में the role of family, the role of society, the role of education institution, every dimension will come into play. Okay, if Mahinder is displaying this characteristic traits, who all have contributed? Parents by genes, by family practices, neighborhood, the school, the friend circle, the peer circle, the religious teachings, everything has contributed in giving a personality shape for Mahinder. What Mahinder comes out is what Mahinder wants. Understand? And Mahinder will make a choice based on the push Mahinder will get. So what fact? See, if I am good, maybe it is my parents who brought me up like this. If I am bad, maybe the parents tried to bring the best in me, but they failed because I was genetically designed in some way or socially designed in some way that I could never become good. So at the end of the day, it is individual choice also. So बहुत सारे permutation and combinations will come into play. ठीक है? Yeah. हाँ. हाँ, ऐसा हो सकता है. His question is, can there be a situation where sympathy and empathy both are present? It is not about both present. It may start as sympathy, over a period of time it may become empathy. It may start as sympathy, but over a period of time it may become empathy. See, understand, the basic difference is you should feel what others are feeling in empathy. If you are feeling it because you have gone through it, that is a different dimension. You are feeling it because you became so emotional about it without going through it. So you are trying to empathize with them. So sympathy से उठ के you are trying to go more closer to that person to help that person. And there is a possibility of empathizing without feeling what he has felt. There is a possibility, but it takes long time. because this is out of experience. Okay, you were also begging 3 years before. Now he is begging, instant empathy will come. అరే 3 years నేను నీలాగా అడుక్కున్నాను రా, ఇదే సిగ్నల్ రా, పదైదురం అందేద్దాం. That instantly that will come. Understand? Okay. Generally it happens with the friends who keep asking you for 500,000 bucks. You also know, అరే లాస్ట్ టైం నేనే ఇంకోటి అడిగినా వీడు నన్ను అడుగుతున్నాడు. If you have, you try to give it instantaneously. So that is how empathizing will come into play. Okay. Yeah.
What's the difference between sympathy and pity? Is both are same?
No, no. जब चैप्टर पे आएंगे बात करें. Pity is very short lived. చూసాము బాధపడ్డాము మర్చిపోయాము. Tell me, when you cross the, when you are coming from the hostel to the institute, you will see a destitute, begging for food or something. You went for a cup of tea, somebody came, Anna. You may remember him for 2 minutes or 3 minutes. You feel pity for him. You take out $5 and give it to him. Forget about it. So it is pity. It is shortest emotion. Pity is the shortest emotion. That it is short-lived, very strong, very small period of time. Trust me, you would have had tea 10,000 times till now. Assumption. And 1,000 times people would have come to beg. Do you remember their faces? None. Why? Why? Why you did not remember all the beggars who begged in front of you? Why do we not? This is called heuristic processing. If your brain remembers everything that you see, it will blast. It has a capacity. So that's what I said. When you left your hostel and when you entered the classroom door, you would have seen so many shades, so many people, so many billboards, so many noises. Do you remember everything? Hardly anything you will remember. Why? Because the mind will constantly tell, this is not important, this is not important. Your eyes are seeing, but the deletion is happening without your knowledge. Subconscious mind mein everything gets deleted. Only thing that either admires you or you are looking for, that you will remember. Say when you are standing in the bus stop waiting for a particular bus, 100V is the number. 100V is the number. When you are waiting, 20 other number buses will come. Do you remember those numbers? You will forget. But you will definitely remember the bus number that you entered, because you have to enter that particular bus number. So this is called a certain kind of processing where the mind is deleting unwanted information. So pity also is one such emotion. If you do not carry that personality, you will just pity 2-3 minutes and you forget. And if you are a person who will go 2 steps ahead, that pity will influence your mind and you will get stuck there till such time you try to bring some positive change in that person. Understand this. So understand how you react to a particular situation depends on who you are intrinsically. अंदर से तुम क्या हो, ठीक है? Yeah. Any other questions? Don't worry, ethics बहुत मजा आएगा. 1 month I will play football with all of you. Till February 8th it will continue. The ethics classes will continue till February 8th. I wish to close it on the 8th. ठीक है? So ethics के लिए do not buy any book whatsoever. Do not read any material whatsoever. Whatever I will discuss in the class, I will give you handouts, and whatever we will discuss in the class, you make running notes. That is enough. After you complete the batch, I will tell you what to do. Okay, so till such time, hold your horses for buying any book or anything. No need.